You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our second edition of the House Call, we're going to get into your questions submitted throughout the past 2 weeks on all sorts of things from nutrition to supplementation to what we previously called the holy grail of exercise and body transformation, and then also a little bit about fruit juice and the benefits of it as well as some potential cons. So let's look into that right now. The first question comes in from Rick. Rick is asking, I've heard medium chain triglycerides contain 0 calories and they can't be stored as fat. Okay, so it's a great question. There's a lot of confusion over medium chain triglycerides right now. And that's because we've been hearing lately a lot in the news about keto-based diets or ketogenic diets. And a lot of those keto diets, they're using MCTs or fats from, let's say, coconut oil as a fuel source for a high-fat diet to be used as energy. I'm going to do a very thorough examination of the keto diet and who it's best for and who it's not, because most people it's not great for them, and I'll explain that on a future podcast. And just keep in mind in general, and this is not necessarily for a house call edition, but most of the things where the media and a lot of people jump onto like full bore and get just like so excited about, it's going to be a passing fad, and there's always some truth to it, but it's most likely not meant for everyone. Just like the Atkins diet is not meant for everyone. I mean, the carb lovers diet is not for everyone. The keto diet is not for everyone. Keep in mind, it's good for a very small, specific part of the population. It works really well for them. But then it just tries to be, using very large, broad strokes to be used for everyone. So I'll explain that in much more detail and more in depth in the future. And again, typically going against the grain of what's the media hype right now. But hopefully you'll always understand that I'm always here to bring you the truth. And that sometimes means just going against me, not saying what everyone else is saying. And everyone else is promoting a keto-based product. I'm not. And so I just try to be honest with you and give you the straight truth. So now let's get right into the show. So Rick's question, it was medium chain triglycerides. I've heard they have 0 calories and they can't be stored as fat. Okay, so let's get into what medium chain triglycerides are. So you're going to mostly find them, for the most part, you're going to find them in coconut oil. You can find them in a lot of other things, but that's the most popular source. Now, some people get it as just straight MCT oil where they can buy it as a supplement. But regardless, either way, let's look at the facts. Medium triglycerides are a fat, okay? But instead of having 9 calories per gram, they're going to have 8.3. So they have slightly less calories. Now, keep in mind, every gram of protein and every gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories, right? So fat has more than twice the calories. Medium chain triglycerides still have twice the calories, not 9, but they have 8.3 than a protein and carbohydrates. So here's the thing, Rick, they absolutely can, so they contain calories. And for every tablespoon, just to let you know, every tablespoon, there's about 135 calories per tablespoon. Now, many people are using many tablespoons, multiple tablespoons, and some people are getting 500 to 1,000 grams of calories just from fat in some of these high keto diets, which I'm absolutely not recommending for 99% of the population. So I'm going to make this really simple. I don't want to, again, I was thinking about getting into all the biochemistry behind it, but let me just tell you this. So, because I do want you to understand that I'm not just coming out of, nowhere with this. So medium chain triglycerides, they get converted to medium chain fatty acids, okay? Those medium chain fatty acids are then brought in by the mitochondria to actually be converted over to something called acetyl coenzyme A, which is then converted to citrate as part of the Krebs cycle, so part of that energy-based cycle. So now medium-chain triglycerides can be a fantastic fuel source, like meaning they can give you energy, and they're used as more of like a carbohydrate-based fuel source than an actual fat, because their conversion is much easier in the body for energy. But, if you're not using the energy, Rick, you will turn that into body fat. So you can't just eat 1,000 grams of calories, or basically 1,000 calories from medium chain triglycerides, and not store that as fat, of course, if you're eating more food in addition to that. So please do keep that in mind. Do not fall for the hype. You can gain weight from medium chain triglycerides, although if you're on a keto-based diet, you're typically not taking in a lot of calories, and it is predominantly from fat, so it's not as easy to store body fat. So hopefully that answers your question. And again, it really does just come down to the science of it. There's just a very straightforward answer. It does contain calories, 8.3 calories per gram, and just a little less than regular fat. All right. So next up is Tyrell C. Tyrell is asking, I've heard it's not possible to lose body fat and put on muscle at the same time. Is this true? Okay, so this is the predominant thinking. And you know why? And it's because it's much harder to put on muscle and lose body fat at the same time. Meaning, like, if you're a bodybuilder, there's a reason why there's typically 2 seasons, like the off season and then getting ready for competition. And the reason is, if a guy or girl comes to me and they want to put on, let's say, 15 pounds of muscle, I say, okay, we can do that, but it's much easier, and hopefully you're okay with this, with putting on about 25 pounds, and 15 pounds of that is muscle. And then as we're getting close to summer or competition or whatever it might be, then we start to lean up and we keep that muscle, but we start to lose all that extra body fat, which is the extra 10 pounds. Much easier to do it that way because you're operating at a surplus, which means it's much easier to build muscle when your body has more calories than it needs, rather than just trying to walk that tightrope of losing weight while putting on muscle. However, I can tell you this, if you go back to way back, right? We're on what episode are we on right now? 176. If you go way back to episode 28, we called this the holy grail, I think, of exercise or diet and exercise. So it's episode 28. Definitely go back and check that out. So here's the thing. You can actually put on muscle and lose body fat. And we do this all the time. And it's not something that really has been showed too much in research, but there is research on it. And I proved that in episode 28. Plus, anecdotally, just keep in mind, myself and a lot of my colleagues, we're a lot of times ahead of the textbook-based research. And the reason is we're doing this every day in our clinics and in our studios. And we have over 200,000 one-on-one appointments done. And we'll show you from all of our results and our progress reports and all of those things. We take photos, we do measurements, we do body fat composition, that typically our clients are losing a large amount of body fat, meaning like they're typically losing between 10 and 20 pounds their first month in body fat. And they're also putting on a few pounds of muscle, which boosts their metabolism. So we see that all the time. And with guys, especially if that guy has been untrained, meaning they haven't been exercising with weights for a while, they're able to put on like 5+ pounds of muscle. They really are. And you can't do that forever, but you can within that first, let's say, 6 to 12 weeks, without a doubt. It absolutely is possible. So I'll tell you this, like if you're a seasoned veteran for lifting and diet and all that, well, it's not going to be as easy for you. But if you're not someone who's done a lot of like weightlifting and done a lot of like proper nutrition, like meaning doing a true elimination diet, you'll without a doubt be able to lose easily 5 to 10 pounds of body fat while putting on a little bit of muscle. As long as, keep in mind, listen to episode 28, as long as you are lifting with weights about 3 times a week. All right. What that does, that boosts your metabolism so that you're not losing muscle as you're putting on body fat. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Tyrell. I'd be happy to do a follow-up on that. And since it has been 150 episodes or so since I've talked about that, maybe I will do a full episode on that again in the future. All right. Next up and last up is Beth. Beth has a great question. She's asking, is it really bad to drink fruit juice even if it's fresh squeezed? Okay. So I think I've said before, and hopefully I've got my point across, that juicing can be very healthy for you if you juice the proper items, proper foods, right? And so the issue with most juices is this, that once something becomes popular, it basically marketing and big corporations ruin it for everyone. And that means this, if you look at the back of a juice, sometimes they're 50+ grams of sugar. That's completely insane. That's the same as drinking any sugary-based soda or anything like that. Now, of course, it is a little healthier for you if it's cold pressed than just drinking soda. So I'm not saying that. But you don't want to put in, without fiber, 55 straight grams of sugar. And there's some very popular cleanses up there. I'm doing the cleanse in air quotes right now, and those are not healthy for you. So they're really not. So the items that you want to juice really are vegetable based. So you do want to juice like the celery as a base, the cucumber as a base, and then you can add your green leafies like spinach or kale or whatever you might like, a little parsley in there, a little bit of ginger for digestion if you'd like. Then if you want to add in a little bit of sweetness, what I do is I recommend juicing a little bit of beet or a little bit of carrot, because those two things, still vegetables, you're just going to get so many phytonutrients, and you're going to get a lot of antioxidants. You're going to get some sugar, which is going to give you a little bit of a boost, but you're not going to get the fructose, right? So it's the fructose which can raise triglycerides. It can also add a little bit more body fat if you're not as insulin sensitive, just meaning that if you don't do well with metabolizing glucose, metabolizing sugar, that means you become kind of desensitized to insulin. So this happens with type 2 diabetes, and then of course it just doesn't work when you have type 1 diabetes. You're not able to produce insulin. That's a totally different ballgame. But here's the thing. If someone's trying to lose weight, so just, Beth, I'm going to give you a couple different scenarios. If you're trying to lose weight, I don't recommend fruit juice. And we just eliminate all of our fruits for the first couple weeks, and then we start adding back in those great fruits for you like berries that are just mostly skin, and they're high in antioxidants, they're low glycemic, and they're anti-inflammatory. Those are so fantastic for you. You could do them in your breakfast smoothie like we recommend with your all-in-one powder, or you could do them post-workout, another great time for them. But if now let's just say, okay, you've lost the weight, you're not worried about weight loss, you just want overall wellness. Okay, well, here's the thing. What type of fruits do you want to juice? And the thing is, fruits are so much better eaten whole because it contains the fiber and it slows down the digestion of those sugars. So much, much better for you. So I would say less fruit juice in general, but if you just worked out and you want to juice an apple with your vegetable-based juices, or you want to juice, I don't even know what other items you would like to be juicing, then you can absolutely do that I always say if you've earned it, meaning like you've just been sweating a lot, you went for some sprints, or you went for a jog, or you did your weight workout, then okay, your body's going to utilize that sugar. So just think of fruit as an energy-based food. And if you just used up energy, or you're about to use energy, then absolutely replenish that energy with some great fruit, and it could even be fruit juice. So hopefully that makes sense. Never buy the store-produced, boxed fruit juice or the jarred fruit juice because it's dead. If you're going to drink fruit juice, at least make it fresh, meaning like juice your own oranges, juice your own apples, because then you get the living enzymes, you get the living nutrients, you get the living vitamins that haven't been heated up, produced, and then eventually brought to the grocery food store and then re-refrigerated. Remember, they're refrigerated in the US because they've been shown to sell better if they're refrigerated, but that fruit juice is dead. Like it's not going to rot. It will eventually go bad, but it only rots if there's actually, some living-based particles to them and the enzymes are still there, but everything's been heated out of it. So, Beth, hopefully that answers your question. Again, if I ever don't answer the question the way that you were looking for it, because again, I'm only getting these through email, right? Or through when you go to stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. And so again, if it's not exactly how you want it, feel free to email right back in and I'd be happy to answer that for you. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another Cabral Concept. I'm back tomorrow with a Motivation and Mindset Monday. Don't miss that one.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.